Word of the day.
Utopia, noun.
Meaning?
Ideal place, paradise, heaven, on earth, Garden of Eden, Shangri-La, Nirvana, seventh heaven.
Example.
As we become used to convenience, we are also becoming inured, adjusted, to its hidden costs. 10 years ago, the idea of taxiing, delivering, a McDonald's double cheeseburger to your door would have been seen as an act of fin de siècle, end of the 19th century, decadence, self-indulgence. Now we complain about the artificially low delivery fees. Just Eat Takeaway is already trialing free delivery, which will force Uber Eats and Deliveroo into a mutually assured race to the bottom. That cost will have to come from somewhere. Tech promised us a utopia, but convenience is still built on the inconvenience of those with the least power, restaurant workers and delivery drivers.
Hypocritical, adjective.
Meaning?
Relating to someone who pretends to have good qualities, moral beliefs, higher principles/standards or true feelings, but he or she does not actually have them at all. Deceptive, dishonest, two-faced, untruthful, self-righteous, pretended, hollow, false, fake.
Example.
Last Wednesday, several senators of Brazil begged the Foreign Minister Ernesto Araújo to resign, calling it a necessary precondition for Brazil to effectively engage the global community as the novel coronavirus claims more and more lives. When he finally threw in the towel and resigned on Monday, Araújo blamed a false and hypocritical narrative erected against him, in the service of shadowy, ill-defined, national and foreign interests. The response to his resignation, however, was overwhelmingly positive.
Dog, verb.
Meaning?
Offer problem, trouble, disturb, worry, beset, bother, continuously.
Example.
Concerns over rare blood clotting events have dogged the Oxford jab vaccination in recent weeks. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, and the European Medicines Agency, EMA, have said it has not been proven that the events have been caused by the jab, and the benefits of vaccination far outweigh the risks, given the danger posed by COVID.
Schadenfreude, noun.
Meaning?
Delight, pleasure, happiness, joy, gladness, elation, in someone else's misfortune/pain. This German word is derived from Schaden, harm/damage, and Freude, joy.
Example.
It might be tempting to indulge in about short period of vaccine schadenfreude. Once derided, ridiculed, for its initial COVID responses, late lockdowns, poor test and trace programs, the UK has triumphed with its vaccine rollout program while the EU has floundered, struggled. But as COVID continues to spread across Europe, Britain's borders will have to remain closed. As the slogan goes, nobody is safe until everyone is safe.
Affluence, noun.
Meaning?
Wealth, prosperity, fortune, richness, luxury, plenty.
Example.
For many of us, living and working from home has brought time affluence, rather than the default, time poverty. Although for parents, the months of homeschooling threw that for a loop, particularly for mothers.
Still, adjective.
Meaning?
Motionless, unmoving, immobile, stationary, inert/dormant, at rest, like a statue.
Example.
Encouraging them, adults, to take up walking, cycling or gardening should be part of any strategy. Taking the stairs instead of the lift or escalator may sound like boring advice. But the evidence is overwhelming. Sitting still for long periods is unhealthy. Muscles, including hearts, need to be put through their paces. Increasing physical activity of all kinds, so that our society does not slide further into immobility, should be a central aim of pandemic recovery plans.
Decrepit, adjective.
Meaning?
Decaying, crumbling, deteriorated, broken down, battered, ruined, dilapidated, due to age/negligence of a person, old, feeble, infirm, weak.
Example.
From decrepit court buildings to legal aid cuts, the service has been brought to its knees. And there's little hope of change.
Shove, aside, verb.
Meaning?
Avoid, deter, prevent, avert, forestall, turn aside. Shove generally means push someone or something forcefully/carelessly/roughly.
Example.
Women reach 40 and hit their stride, only to be cruelly shoved aside at work.
Soft touch, noun.
Meaning?
A person who is easily influenced to do/give what you want. Innocent, fool.
Example.
Make no mistake, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is still no soft touch. The conditions imposed as the price for financial support are often draconian, harsh/severe, and critics note the disconnect between the written, reformist/forward-thinking, rhetoric, extravagant, persuasive language, bragging/boasting, of the IMF's managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, and the policies imposed by her organization's missions to struggling countries.
Vaccine passport, noun.
Meaning?
It is documentation proving that you have been vaccinated against COVID-19 to access certain facilities and events. It could be in the form of a smartphone app or a written certificate.
Example.
What we are seeing now, in other words, is a regulatory system doing exactly what it's supposed to do, working methodically through the evidence and ignoring political noise as best it can. That won't stop the noise coming, or coloring what are already fraught, anxious and frantic debates over whether vaccine passports might be a way of getting theaters, music festivals and other crowded venues back on their feet.
Trivialisation, noun.
Meaning?
An act of making something seem less important/serious, understatement, underplaying, underemphasis, minimization.
Example.
The death of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, has been announced by Buckingham Palace. No trivialization is intended by saying that this news has not come as a bolt from the blue. The Duke was, after all, 99 years old and less than 3 months short of his centenary, a formidable age for any man, even in these days of unprecedented longevity.
Mold-breaking, adjective.
Meaning?
Innovative, inventive, creative, pioneering, groundbreaking, trailblazing, new, unconventional, unorthodox, ingenious, unprecedented.
Example.
Biden already has one big win under his belt. The $1.9 trillion COVID recovery stimulus bill passed by Congress last month. This package by itself is mold-breaking, by recent American standards, in facilitating a vast expansion of the country's social safety net. It extends federal benefits, allocates funds to tackle child poverty and provides help for states, tribal governments and small businesses damaged by the pandemic.
Tripartite, adjective.
Meaning?
Involving 3 people/parties, having 3 parts/elements.
Example.
George Orwell's, author of the dystopian novel 1984, published in 1949, prediction of an endless, 3-way global confrontation proved premature. China needed time to develop. The Soviet Union eventually imploded. The US, declaring a unipolar moment, claimed victory. Yet today, by some measures, Orwell's tripartite world is finally coming into being. 2021 is the new 1984.
Square with, phrasal verb.
Meaning?
To cause something to be in agreement with something else, make compatible, make congruent, make consistent, harmonize.
Example.
The chance of getting a blood clot from the Oxford/AstraZeneca, jab, vaccine, is tiny, but we all have trouble squaring our fears with the facts.
Reciprocity, noun.
Meaning?
Exchange, trade-off, swap/switch, return.
Example.
For everyone to recover from the pandemic and its aftershock will require building a food system committed to reciprocity and not extraction, removal. It will require everyone taking better care of their relationships with people and the land, air and water.
Mandarin, noun.
Meaning?
Civil servant, public servant, government servant, senior bureaucrat, powerful government official.
Example.
Spare a thought for, remember/think about, Britain's ministers and mandarins. Making the right call, decision, in the public interest isn't always easy when they're endlessly having their ears bent by those with vested interests, personal interest to get a benefit in their decisions.
Hubris, noun.
Meaning?
Feeling of superiority, excessive self-importance, excessive pride, excessive self-confidence/self-glory, overconfidence, arrogance.
Example.
In his televised address this week, Mr. Biden announced that nearly 10,000 US and NATO troops, including 750 from the UK, will start pulling out of Afghanistan within weeks. Mr. Biden's decision marks the death of a particular kind of American hubris.
Scupper, verb.
Meaning?
Ruin, destroy, devastate, wreak havoc on, damage, spoil, mess up.
Example.
Professor Danny Altman, from Imperial College London, warned that the Indian mutation of the virus could scupper the UK's path to further easing of restrictions, despite the lockdown and vaccine program leading to cases falling to a 7-month low.
Whodunit, noun.
Meaning?
Who has done it? A mystery story where the reader/viewer doesn't know who committed the crime, usually a murder, thriller, detective novel, detective story.
Example.
Last weekend's mystery explosion at Iran's Natanz nuclear facility, which destroyed crucial equipment, was the most spectacular strike since the 2010 Stuxnet cyber attack. Except it's no mystery. Anonymous intelligence sources freely admitted Israeli involvement. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, ace provocateur, instigator/troublemaker, wanted Iran and the world to know who done it. It was like waving a red flag at a bull.
Lion, noun.
Meaning?
Agreement, acceptance of something, an idea/decision that someone suggests.
Example.
Transitioning to a low-carbon economy requires social buy-in and a sense that we are addressing an existential threat through our collective efforts. As long as richer consumers and businesses continue to receive state backing, support, or are not seen to pull their weight, efforts to build a zero-carbon society will be jeopardized, endangered.
Preposterous, adjective.
Meaning?
Absurd, ridiculous, foolish, stupid, crazy, insane, laughable, nonsensical, pointless, illogical.
Example.
For the BJP, which has built its entire narrative and constructed its rise on communalism, to accuse Congress of that sin is preposterous. It is like the proverbial pot calling the kettle black, except that in this case the kettle is white, Mr. Shashi Tharoor said.
Triumphalism, noun.
Meaning?
Boastfulness, self-assertion, self-satisfaction, excessive pride, extreme self-confidence, chutzpah, chest-thumping, chest-beating.
Example.
Instead, there was triumphalism. India has successfully contained the pandemic, Health Minister Harsh Vardhan said at the end of January 2021. In 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had given every indication of having taken the virus deadly seriously. Unlike other global leaders, such as Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro, Modi was relentlessly on message, always appearing masked. Yet after the September decline, everyone appeared to throw caution to the winds.
Maladministration, noun.
Meaning?
Mismanagement, mishandling, inefficient administration, misgovernment, misrule, incompetence.
Example.
Distinguishing between necessary shortcuts and maladministration is one reason why a thorough inquiry into the UK government's handling of the pandemic is needed.
Ignominious, adjective.
Meaning?
Shameful, disgraceful, infamous, notorious, humiliating, undignified, embarrassing.
Example.
The European Super League (ESL) was promulgated on Sunday, denounced on Monday, began to collapse on Tuesday and bit the dust, for now, on Wednesday. As failed coups go, this must be among the most ignominious ever.
Coterie, noun.
Meaning?
A small group of people with shared interests and they generally don't allow others to join them. Sect, gang, inner circle, faction/camp.
Example.
We have already allowed this coterie of billionaires to own and deform the football game for some time. This particular circus may yet fold, but the economic and political shifts that made it possible will still be with us. Now we need to do more than call their bluff and settle for the compromise of an expanded Champions League.
Pooh-pooh, verb.
Meaning?
Dismiss, reject, brush aside, play down, disregard, an idea/suggestion.
Example.
The Indian Prime Minister suffers from overconfidence in his own instincts, natural way of thinking/doing something, and pooh-poohs expert advice. His ministers turned on, suddenly attack someone verbally, a former Congress Prime Minister, for daring to offer them counsel, formal advice, just before he was admitted to hospital with COVID this week.
Hot potato, noun.
Meaning?
A controversial issue which many people try to avoid talking about, or a difficult situation/problem which many people try to avoid dealing with.
Example.
The center, once bitten and twice shy, has conveniently left any decision on lockdowns to the states. The learning from the first lockdown should not be that it is a political hot potato that is to be passed around, but that it could serve as a smart instrument in combating the outbreak.
Olfactory, adjective.
Meaning?
Connected/related to the sense of smell.
Example.
And even those of us with full olfactory powers might yearn for the precise, irreproducible flavor of lamb shank at that one favorite restaurant, a sister's scones or a best friend's pav bhaji, reflecting the social nature of eating. Good food is a human need, not only for our physical strength, but for our emotional well-being too.
Iniquitous, adjective.
Meaning?
Wicked, immoral, criminal, heinous, atrocious, egregious, unjust, unfair.
Example.
In February, the Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy received a report on the iniquitous practice of fire and rehire, an unscrupulous, unprincipled/unethical tactic used by employers to unilaterally impose inferior/worse terms and conditions on employees. Some companies have used COVID as cover and an excuse to force through cost-cutting strategies that predated the virus.
Claw back, phrasal verb.
Meaning?
Get back, recover, take back. For example, take money back from people through taxation after giving it to them as an allowance/subsidy/relief, reclaim, repossess, redeem, regain.
Example.
It is galling, angering/annoying, to chuck, throw/dump casually, £15 billion of taxpayers' money at fixing the work of property developers and their builders. But it is up to government to devise a way to finance the repair work and how to claw it back from a hugely profitable industry.